to Offline Utmostt Review, where we share inspirational, educative, and informative content. We have our man here, Matt Curry, lyricist, author, writer, poet, and entrepreneur. I'll just like you to sort of introduce yourself for people that don't that might not know much about you, but that might have known your work. You know, because I know that Chantology. I see you. Thanks for coming on. I know that you were with Bad Boy Entertainment for a long, long time, writing a lot of hit songs. Could you talk us through some of that before we get up to the main topic of the day?
I'm Mark Curry. I'm not responsible, but I always humble myself. That's something I always do. I humble myself, and I always feel like no matter what I accomplish, I can accomplish more. So I work with P. Diddy. That's one of my more greater moments in life, but it's not my best moment in life. And I worked with him. I wrote for him. I made him who he is. I put my heart into it. I put my hard time and effort, everything into it. And he is a result of everything that I worked hard for. You know, me, I'm still a work in progress. But as long as I can look and I say, hey, Puff Daddy is successful, he's successful. You know, I just say I work hard, you know, to make the Puff Daddy, to hear that part. The P. Diddy, the artist formerly known as whatever you want to call him. I worked to make that. That's who I am. But other than that, I'm a brother. I'm a down the heart person, man. I'm a realist. I'm a what do they call with Kim Kardashian? It starts with an E. I'm a human, not humanitarian.
Humanitarian, okay. I hear you.
I'm like that. I'm more of a real person, man. I'm more of someone with a heart. You know.
Okay. So how long were you with Bad Boy Entertainment, and which songs did you write? Which were the hit songs that you wrote with?
My first hit song I wrote with him was Godzilla, Come With Me, with Robert Plant. I did
Godzilla.
Come With Me. I did several, I wrote Got Bad Boy for Life. I did them on P2000, which was, you know, Puff don't never talk about a lot of things that wasn't successful with him, like P2000 wasn't as successful as Bad Boy for Life, but I wrote that. I wrote several other songs on his album from the Bad Boy for Life, P. Diddy and the Family. You know, I did the Bad Boy for Life. I did that P. Diddy and the Family. I did his P2000 album. And I did, what was that other album? He did, I did Gangsta Shit with Lil Kim. That was like one of my first songs. And that was on, what was that? P. Diddy, I can't remember which P. Diddy album that was. It was about 3 of them. So I did about 3 albums worth of music.
3 albums?
Yeah, 3 albums. 3 albums.
Wow.
Probably a total of about 30 songs.
30?
You know, my whole catalog, I got about 30 songs.
Okay, so there you go. Well, we'll come back to that at the later stage. But I wanted to just know what the feel is in terms of COVID-19 in Atlanta and in America, and everything that's going on generally. How are people taking things right now? Has everything sort of calmed down?
It's a thing. It's not. It's calm, but at the same time, it's a difference, and it's a difference that people are having to learn to adjust to. And it's just something to me. I think it's just an awareness that came about that's been well needed. It's been a long time since something like this has happened. It's just a wake up call, you know, that made a lot of people wake up and realize who they are. You know, think like how to stay in the house more instead of having to be in the club more. I went in to get a board game, and there was no board games. Every board game was bought off the shelf, so that meant a lot of people were spending more time at home playing games with their family, which was a good thing. What's up, Chaz? That's my cuz right there. Chaz 86.
Okay.
You know.
Hey, Chaz 86. Okay.
Yeah. So it just brought a whole bunch of awareness. It just made people more like after what's going on with this epidemic, what's going on now. It's a lot of people who might not even want to ever go back to frequenting clubs again and things like that. It's not more important. It's more important being at home. It's more important spending time with your family. And that's what happened. People learn more about family. They learn more about each other, which was long overdue. But I hate it took, this situation and make people realize that, you don't need that outside world in order to entertain yourself, but
there you go.
Yeah. And Atlanta was they were overdue for it, because to me, what you look at is a lot of the people who were used to having money up, going to the club, the people who want to be at the club, and tonight we're having Busta Rhymes and things like that. Nobody cares if Busta Rhymes is having a party no more. Nobody cares if P. Diddy is coming down for his weekend with the Bad Boy family or whatever it may be. People are more into, that's not going to do it. That's not going to generate a dime for me. It's just going to help me spend money.
Okay. I hear you. So tell us, what is this thing called American Dream? What is it all about? Is there a such thing?
American Dream?
Yeah.
There's American Dream. American Dream is a dream that you are respected as a person. You work hard and you get the results that you're looking for. You live, you have a wife, you have a family, you have a dog, you have children. That's the American Dream. That you're just accepted, like you're a person. That's the American Dream. Just to be a part and to stand on your own two feet and provide for your family. That's the American Dream. The American Dream really is just about being strong and able. That's the American Dream.
Okay.
That's my American Dream.
Yeah.
That's
so
mine.
What's the whole what's happening regards all the killings of the black people, the socioeconomic neglect and things like that? How Americans, black Americans or African Americans, how are they reacting to it? Because I read the other day that in Buckhead, there's a lot of people going to brick stores. Everything is in pandemonium. It's not settled.
We tired, Now it's just everybody's tired. Before it was just me and a few other people who were tired. Then after that, it was just a group of people who was tired. Now, everybody's tired, man. As black people, as black men especially, we've been. And as far as brutality, not being able to have jobs, not being able to provide for your family without even having to sell drugs. A lot of black people, we've been having to sell all kind of weird things, drugs, everything in order to survive. And people always ask, how do y'all do it? And you be like, man.
So what's there's this thing going on I think it's everywhere. I'm not sure how many states in America right now, but it's like the Floyd death is galvanizing people to come out and protest. And you said white people and black people is coming together and they're protesting. I think the community knows, the civilians, general populace knows that, if they don't do something about it, it can escalate to something else. And before the government or the police will come and protect them, more lives will be lost. I think that's why everybody's trying to come together to sort of protest against the killings and the brutality against black people in America. Well, what do you think?
Well, four officers that did George Floyd. They hold them accountable for his death. But instead of them holding those four accountable, they'll rather the world riot. They would rather not pull them into court and let the world see them suffer their consequences. Before they do that, they'll have riots. So the only reason why people are rioting is because we don't feel like justice was served.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But now,
you don't.
Yeah. The other three officers, I believe. Sorry, say that again.
There's not much justice for black men, black people, especially black men in America. Justice
Why is that though? Why?
Because justice is, when you look at the American flag, the justice is, what represents justice is the 52 stars in the blue. But then when you look in the sky, it's blue. But when you get up in the sky, you don't see anything blue. And when you look at fresh, clear water, it looks blue. But when you put it in your hand and look at it, it's nothing blue. So blue is the color of the sea. So the 52 stars in the blue stands for justice that you think you're going to get in America. It's not really going to go that way.
That's deep. So what you're saying is, blue. If you look at water, yeah, it might be blue. But when you put it in your hand, it's a different color. So that's deceit, basically. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, blue is the color of deceit. So you got the 52 stars in the blue, and the star stands for justice. So you're deceived into thinking that you'll receive justice. Look at this. How you turn this? I wish I could turn it so you can see, because I'm going past the flag right now, an American flag.
No, that's okay. I understand what you mean. Perfect. Yeah. I understand it. It's so. Right, what's the way forward? What can Americans? Okay.
See that flag flying?
So what? I saw the sky, but I didn't see the flag. But that's all right. So what do black people need to do? What do they need to do right now? Black people in America, African Americans, what needs to be done to get this to get a restructure in the system? Because something that has been going on for hundreds of years, I don't think it's going to change overnight.
No, it's not going to change overnight, but a change starts with one step. So it starts with today. It's almost like what people used to be able to do to take advantage of us a long time ago. We're aware of it. We're not everybody, but we're not so easy to let someone walk over us anymore. Like we turn our back. We've been treated wrong for a while, but we're not here to cry about it. We tend to move on, and we're strong individuals. But now is the time. Like it's aware. Like this is the time right now. Like, and it was always going to be a time when they say in the Bible, he who comes first will be last, and he who comes last will be first. Now it's time for the ones who was coming in last to be first, and for the ones who were first to be last.
Okay. But when this is some of my these are some of my thoughts. I don't know how they're going to do this, but I think Minnesota is actually, to my understanding, I don't live in America, but when I was there last year, when I left Atlanta and I went to Minnesota, I was in Minnesota for about 4 to 6 days or so, if I can remember correctly. But Minnesota, to me, from what I heard, is one of the most peaceful places in America. You know, so if that kind of thing can happen in Minnesota, I can only imagine what's happening all over America. Minnesota is supposed to be a peaceful place where you can change your life, where you can have opportunities. And I heard that's what Floyd said himself when he was moving to Minnesota, that he wanted to start a new life. But even in Minnesota, it appears there's no justice for the black man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I lived in Minnesota.
Okay.
I lived there, and Minnesota is a place where you have all the Chicago gangs live there, all of the Los Angeles gangs live there, as well as the skinheads and the KKK. So that's a place where it's like a big gumbo of a whole bunch of violence. That's Midwest, but Minnesota especially. And racism has been going on in Minnesota for a long time. Like, because anywhere that you have skinheads that live there, you know it's a problem. And you know what a skinhead looks like, right? Yeah. When the last time people saw a skinhead in Georgia or in New York, when the last time you saw a skinhead, they do exist. So you have all of that going on in Minnesota, but you know, in Atlanta, I mean, it's just black people again, brother. We tired. Black men, we tired. We standing up now. At least that's what I see. I've been doing it.
The officers that have been arrested now, I'm not sure they're going to be charged with second or first degree murder. Maybe the cops just arrested them just to give peace, just to make it seem as if they've been arrested. That's my thinking.
Right. Even the officer put his knee on George Floyd's neck. He was charged with third degree murder, if I'm not mistaken, which is like prostate cancer or thyroid cancer. It's a cancer, but it's not the one that's going to kill you. We want him to have the sentence that's going to kill him.
Okay.
Right? Not third degree. We want him to have the first degree. You know, but they'll give him the murder charge to make it feel good and sound good. But when you go to court and they let him walk off on probation or something like that, then you know that it's not the same as someone that you know that's in prison doing time for murder.
I see. Because that's what people were saying, because usually these things happen and then they let off the hook. I think there's one or two of them. One of them has had about 18 complaints in the past. The guy that put the knee on Floyd's neck, he's had a lot of complaints in the past as well, and nothing's ever happened. So I think now that there's a death involved, that's why probably they're trying to take it more serious. But it's like nobody really knows what will happen.
They take us more serious. But we you know, we get upset and start, you know, tearing down our own stuff, like burning up our own stuff. That's not the answer. So, you know, when you see things like what's going on with the rioting and things like that, I look at that as people finding an excuse to do something that they've been wanting to do, but they won't go and riot and burn down the judge who passed the judgment, or the police chief who trained the police officers to feel the way that they've done. They don't do that. So until we take those kind of steps, that I don't think that they'll understand still. You know, as black, we can't march and riot and expect to have justice. You know, justice be served over that. That's not going to be the way we get justice. But no, they doing it all over.
Do you not think that this might actually, in as much as people want there to be a change, do you not think that this might actually make them to have, they'll put things in place that will be stricter? Because the way the police operates, especially in America, I don't see them, you know, just letting one of their own just face the justice system like that and get thrown down the drain or thrown down to the lion's den. I think they're going to try and protect the officers as much as they can. And I think other officers, you know, that this didn't happen to as well. Other officers that are in the force, are police officers, they might be more scared, and they might get trigger happier this time around dealing with people, because it's as if American police, when they see black people, they just think of the worst. Maybe that's why they just want to just protect themselves. Or is it because everybody has a gun in America?
In America, we look at the police like they're a different gang. Like, we got Bloods and Crips in the police. The police are no different than Bloods and Crips. That's just the way black men we thinking, and we don't look at them and be like, here come the police. We look at them and say, run, like for some reason. Not all police are bad police officers too, because I have some friends that are actually police officers that I have a lot of love for. But the wrong police officers, when you see them, you can tell when they're sitting on the side of the freeway when they're trying to pull somebody over. You can tell that that's what they want to do, and when they pull you over, they're going to take it to the next step and ask if you have anything in the car, anything like that. Then they're going to they'll use that to just do whatever they want to do. Especially if you're black and you don't have, if you're standing up for yourself. Like if they ask you, can I search your vehicle? No, you can't search my vehicle. Even though they asked you and you told them no, they still going to do it. And they violate, then they'll take you to jail for what they found, and then now you're in jail. You got to prove it to the judge that whatever it was, and that's wrong, having to go talk to a judge because someone arrested you in the field. Now I got to go prove my point to a judge because I was arrested for no reason. It's a lot of people in the court system right now behind that same scenario. Courts are full with black people. You go to court, and it's crazy that they say we are the minority, but you go to court and see who's the minority in the court. It's not black people. Black people are the majority of people going to court for crime. White people are the minorities that's in court. But it's crazy. We can be the minorities in the world, the ones that have the COVID-19 the most, and we going to the court. We there the most. We're the ones who doing crime. It just lets you know when you even walk into court and you just see all of those black people in there, you're like, how many of these people are in here that didn't commit a crime? And it's a lot of them.
That's actually an interesting angle to look at it. Black people are the majority that go to the courts, and the majority that gets taken to prison. Or the whites are the minority that sort of act on the cases. So, a white cop and a black cop. Does a white cop have more authority more than a black cop in America? From your own understanding?
White, not all, but a lot of white people feel that they are superior to blacks, originally. But you have to fault that from when you used to look into your Bible and you flipped the Bible when you was too young to understand how to read, but you knew how to look at pictures. And you flip this Bible and you see white angels and white people, you'd be like, wow, white people must have been here first, because when I look at the Bible, it's all white people. But then when you read and you get older, you say Jesus had hair of wool. And you'd be like, that's not the same blue-eyed, blind Jesus that they had the picture of. So if Jesus had a hair of wool and his skin was like bronze, then why they didn't have the picture of Jesus like that in the book? It's for those who didn't understand how to read to look at the picture, and it's feel inferior to white people just by the picture. So, that's been going on for, a long time, brother. It started off with just picking up a Bible. You start thinking that white people were here first.
Yeah. So there's this thing that, there's an analogy that sort of explains everything that's white is supposed to be pure and good. Everything that's black is supposed to be evil and bad. So from a psychological perspective, black is supposed to be bad and white is supposed to be good. And from the early ages of time, that's the perception that everybody's been fed into, especially black people. So there's this psychological and emotional character that plays upon everybody's mind, whether you're black or white. You know your place, sort of. And that's something that people now begin to sort of want to change. And if something has been around for over 400 years, for it to, even a lot of black people admit to this and they say the same thing. So I think it's a lot of deep meanings to everything that's happening right now. And as human beings, generally, not all humans have the capacity or the audacity to question the norm. So people are always a bit skeptical or they're a bit, if I can use the word, scared or afraid to sort of challenge the norm. So it's a big issue, and in America, and it's not only in America, it's all over the world.
It's all over the world. But one thing, when people understand that black and white is the color of a spirit. So when they say you have a black spirit, that means you have a dark spirit, a dark soul. When your light illuminates, when you use your light or your life in the form of light, and you say, light, life, I want to use my life to shine, and you illuminate, then your light is white. So you can look at a white person and they can have a dark spirit, and they can be a black person. And you can look at a black person that has a good spirit, and they can be a white spirit. So white and black is not skin color. White and black is the color of the soul. So a lot of white people are black, and a lot of black people are white, and a lot of black people are black, and a lot of white people are white. But your heart, the spirit of the white lady and child that feels for what black people have been going through, I call those white people. They have a white spirit. The ones who say we don't care because it's not us, they have a very dark spirit. I call them black. So what I call black and white is different than what I see by skin color.
That's a good way to depict it, to sort of give wisdom and understanding to that aspect of it. It's a really good analogy and example. Thank you for that. So going forward, how do you think there can be change? What do black people need to do? What do white people need to do? Because so many people are gifted with
those in office. We have to change those in office. We have to change the prosecutors that feel like, hey, I can go to work and just charge a black man of a crime and walk and go to lunch and eat a sandwich and feel no pain about it. We have to get them out of the office and how they've been trained. We have to get the police officers off of the force, feel like, they come to work to just put on this badge to be a gang member. They don't feel like they're police. They're not here to protect and serve. They're here to hurt. And not all police officers, but the majority of them. And again, it shows when you go to the courtroom and you see them packed with black people. You don't see as many white people, the majority, in court as you see black people. Shoplifting, theft, all of those kind of things. You see, it's black people. But white people steal. They just steal and they never get caught. Hardly ever get caught, But we're the ones that's in court. We're the one that's in prison. When you look at the prison system, it's made up of over 75% of black people, I believe. Everyone incarcerated in the world, we are the minority, but we still make up 75% of the prison population. How is that?
So there's a system working against the black people in terms of socio-economic factors, in terms of neglect, in terms of health, education. These are very, very important things. But the black champions that are in America, they're all over the world, what are they doing? Have they been compromised that they can't stand up for their own people? Or are there people going against them? Because there's so many factors to this thing that you can look at it in different perspectives.
Right.
In America, like, last year when I was in America, I was in Detroit, I was in San Francisco, I went to Mountain View, then I went to LA, Atlanta, and Minnesota. And one thing I could tell was, a lot of people that I met, especially black people, African Americans, they not so many sort of understood the way of life in terms of other sides of the world, how things. The knowledge is not there; it's not shared. The kind of knowledge and understanding that you have Not so many people understand it. Not so many people read books. Not so many people are experienced. So people just want to live their life, go get a job, work. The ones that can get a job, or, they're probably selling drugs. Probably not a family where they can be
You
careful.
know,
The picture, yeah.
I went to court one time, right? And the
Okay.
judge had told me that the prosecutor, they was like, a job, get a job, whatever. And then I'm like, yo, if it was as easy for a black man to walk out into this world and get a job, then this courtroom would not be as full as it is today. A lot of people are in court because they can't get a job. And then when you do get a job, you're underpaid. So, minimum wage is just designed for you to make just enough to where you broke. Or, it's a theory that says minimum wage is low. It's just enough for you to make people do drugs. It's enough to make people get off work and want to go buy marijuana or drugs to just escape from the world. And that's what minimum wage is about. You don't save. You're not able to have extra money for what you work for. You're just going to have barely enough. And that's what they've been doing to not black men. I know we've been going through it. They've been doing it. Then they reverse the families, and they made the black women make more money than black men. And then now the black women don't look up to black men no more. They say, hey, we no good because we don't have this and we don't have that. Well, the world is designed for us not to have it, for that woman to turn her back on us so that we can stop having as many children as we've been having. This is set up. But we fall for it. Not only do we fall for it, when we look at racism in America, we also got to look at our relationships that we have in between black men and black women. We still putting feet on each other's neck. We still want to stop each other from growing. It's like, okay, it's a thing. We all have to wake up. When you look at dating in America, black on black dating, sometimes it's difficult because black women will look like, hey, I want a man that can do this and do this and do that. And then black men, we ain't been able to do that for I don't know how long. So it's almost like you living a dream or are you living in reality? So it keeps us from having relationships. And it turns your children against you. It turns your family against you, But you got to go through it. You got to win. God never put nothing in your life, that's going to break you. It's just things that's going to make you stronger. But black men, we've been going through all of that. Not only with racism, we've been going through that in our homes. We've been fighting in our homes. We can't find love,
There's a lot. Is that from what you're saying? Is that from how you're breaking it down? It's a lot of problems to face. Whereas America is a place where everybody believes all around the world that is the land of dreams, of reality, of things good to come through. People don't see the pain that black Americans or black African Americans go through. Everybody, you got a lot of people in Africa selling their properties, selling their homes, selling different things just to get on that flight to go to America. But then when they get there, they'll be like, oh, sugar. It's a whole different ballgame entirely.
It's like when I went to Africa, and then I looked at the way that the Africans, a lot, not all, but how they used to look at us because we are from America. And I'm black and I'm from America. They didn't treat me like I was the same black person that was raised in Senegal or in Congo or something like that. They looked at me like I was a black American. And I've been Americanized. And when you've been Americanized, that means that you think like an American. Your thought is automatic take. You don't know how to work hard for nothing. You just want to take advantage of everything that's going on around you. And sometimes you can be Americanized when you think like Donald Trump, and you're black, but you still think like Donald Trump, So when I went over to Africa, I noticed that a lot of people looked at us like, we were black Americans, and they also didn't want us to talk to a lot of the Africans in Africa because they said that we had the power to incite riots. That means, like, when you tell people, hey, I can't believe that y'all sitting there letting them do y'all wrong like this. In Africa, they'll riot. Here in America, it'll just be one of those things like, if it's not me, I'm not worried about it. You know, I understand that a kid got killed, but it wasn't my serve, so it's not my concern. And that's the attitude, like, it's not me. And I kind of think that that's one of those things that people always do because they don't have the power to make a change or do anything, so they just play stupid and act dumb. So, you know, even though it's not my child, it could have been my child. And your child, even if it's your child, that's still a part of me because your child is a part of my community. And I'm standing up for your child. That's like George Floyd. We're standing up for that person. The world is standing up for that person. And we're not turning our back saying, well, my last name is Curry, not Floyd, so I'm not worried about it. Or my last name is Williams, not Floyd, so I'm not worried about it. You know, a lot of people have that kind of mentality towards it. And that's wrong. And it's been like that for a long time with black people. We don't know how to stand up. We're afraid to speak up. We're afraid. You know, like, because you look at the police and you look at them and you say, okay, I fear the police. Now, when you look at them and you fear them, just imagine how many people look at a certain color and fear to say what they want to say.
That's real. What you're saying is real. I can, you know, disseminate it and understand where you're coming from. It's a big issue. So what part of Africa did you go visit? Where in Africa have you been to?
Say it again.
Where in Africa have you been to? Where in Africa did you go to?
I went to South Africa one time. I went to I was at Cape
Town?
Resort,
Cape Town.
resort in Cape Town. But I went to Cape Town. Yeah. I went to Cape Town. It looked just like going to Lenox Mall in Georgia. It's no different. Yeah. I thought I was gonna go to South Africa and go get me a spear and go in the woods and hang out with some Africans. And I got there and it was more white than America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I realized that, but then I also didn't, you know, when you look at a white person who's born and raised in Africa, if they come over to the United States and say that they're African, we'd be looking at them like they crazy. But because they were born in Africa, they're really African. We look at Africans like Africans are just black people.
Yeah,
Yeah, African could be a Korean person who was born and raised in Africa. You know,
a lot of Indians were born in Africa.
Yeah,
Indians, a lot of Indians. It's like Kenya, Uganda, and also those areas. You know, it's Indians. People travel all over the world. Africa, there's so much confusion going on around the world. I believe a lot of, you know, Americans or African Americans just believe Africa is a jungle, you know, where you're gonna see people with spade and all you see is mud houses. Some even think Africa is a country. So it's what we're fed in by the media sometimes that sort of makes that difference. That sort of changes the mindset. That sort of gives the illusion of what is not. So there's a lot. I mean, for black people to thrive and to forge ahead and move forward, there's a lot of things that need to change. But the mindset is the first thing that needs to change. But it's very, very possible. We just have to share the information. We have to preach the gospel. And we don't have enough tools right now. We don't have the media houses. We don't have the scholars, enough scholars, without them getting compromised. But I see light at the end of the tunnel if this kind of George Floyd incident has happened and it's galvanizing people around the world. Maybe, just maybe, this is the time that things will change. But can it be consistent? Can we keep at it? That is the thing. Because not so many people are talking especially the white people, the supremacists. It's because not all white people are bad, but the perception is that a lot of white people are not talking. They're not supporting the cause, which is it's just so many angles to it. There's so many angles, there's so many confusions, but the people that have been suffering for decades and for a long, long time are the black people. Yeah.
Right. They said America is like Babylon, which was a city in the Bible that was built to be destroyed. What was going on in Babylon? America is just a modern day Babylon. Nobody in America is from America. We all just live here. It's like Atlanta. When you look at Atlanta, Atlanta is a city full of people from all over the place. Very seldom do you run across someone that says, I was born and raised in Atlanta. You're like, okay, where you from? They're from Chicago. They're from New York. So Atlanta is a place that people ended up moving to. And it's like America.
Okay.
America is a place that people ended up moving to. So nobody really is from America, So we have this big wicked country that's in control, that wants to be in control of ports and things like that, and how we transport rice and goods and things like that, and say, well, in order for you to sell your rice to us, you're going to have to come down this port, this channel, and we own that travel right. So in order to come down this channel, you're going to have to pay taxes. So they put a tax on everything that comes into the United States. A lot of people don't understand things like banks. Like, what are bankers? And what do bankers do? Bankers are people who sit, they own banks, and they sit on the ocean banks, the river, and they wait for things that come in, and they buy things that come in on containers from China and Africa with me and your money that we put in the bank. Then they take it and put it in Publix or something like that. Then they make the money off of bankers. Bankers to me, I think that those are people who've been taking advantage of a lot of black people. And that explains, like, when we go and try to get loans, we can't get loans. We can't get finances from banks. So banks are just there in place for white people. I just look at a bank as a place that's holding my little ATM money. They're not somebody who's going to help me get a car. Not going to help me get a home. They don't do that because I'm black. My skin says that when I go in the bank, no loan for them. But look at what's going on. Through all of this that's going on in the world, when the world comes down and say, hey, we're in depression, they're going to give money to the bankers again. Then the bankers are still not going to give us no money. They loot Walmart.
Yeah, I saw a film, I think about last week. There's this film called The Banker. Samuel L. Jackson and some dude like this. Have you seen the film, The Banker?
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a banker. The movie about the two black guys that owned the bank that had to use the white face in order to run the business because they wouldn't let the black guys own the bank.
Absolutely. I only just saw the film, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah. That's an example of what you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah. I read I read the synopsis. So, I mean...
Did you see how the white people felt did you see how the white people felt when they realized that their bank was owned by black people?
Yes, yeah. That's
the world.
There's so many stories like that. I mean, it was an eye opener for me last year when I went around America. I could see America for what it was, and if you have money, you can do a whole lot of things. Money just rules in America, but not so many people have access to money. And when you look at it, I discovered that everywhere you went, the restaurant, you had to like tip. Like the waiters don't get paid at all. They only live on tips. Do they get paid anything at all, or it's just a little amount of money they're gonna get paid? The waiters, like restaurants and bars.
Yeah, that's America. But It's a lot of people in America that never had the opportunity to go to Europe and visit your country like how you had the opportunity to visit our country. It's a lot of us that never even been out the country, and we don't get a chance to expand our horizons and things like that. And that's just something that's been holding us back. Like, we want to travel. We want to have a little extra cash to go to a hotel in Africa for a weekend or something like that. We don't have money like that. They don't give us, you can work hard as a black man. The only thing you're going to be able to do is pay your rent. Not a mortgage, your rent. That means you're renting. Somebody has their foot on your neck once again that says you can live in this place as long as you give me this much money a month. And you be like, wow, the money that I'm giving you is actually paying your mortgage. But I'm not doing anything for myself. I'm just living in your space. Black people are living in white people's space. And that's what we're tired of. We're tired of living in your space. We don't want your space. We don't want your apartment and things like that. It just goes on and on and on.
I'm hopeful. I think if the black heads can come together, like the top people at the head of the food chain, in the food chain.
People, there's no modern day Malcolm X. There's no there's no Martin Luther reborn. So we don't have the representatives like they used to have back in the day. At least people who were knowledgeable enough to represent us. We have people that's representing us like Puff Daddy and stuff like that. You're like, he may be a great person, but does he speak up for us as a people? No. A lot of the people that, you look in Europe and you look up and you say America. When you think of America, what's the biggest artist that you can think of, that rap artist that you think of?
You think of the Jay-Z's, the Diddy's, you think of, those are the ones that come to mind, the Diddy's. Those are like the top two.
Yeah,
there's a couple.
You mentioned Jay-Z, and you mentioned Diddy.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's been doing what he can. I just see Jay-Z. Everybody was around Jay-Z, from Memphis Bleak to Beanie Siegel. They all had an opportunity in life. So I always say, hats off to Jay-Z for at least creating opportunity. Puff Daddy, on the other hand, is different. So when you look up to these people, you say, okay, when you look at America and you say, I think of Jay-Z and Puff, those are the people who've been putting their foot on people's necks to make sure that nobody it's a crab in the bucket situation. Nobody's going to become greater than this. Like, do you not think that somewhere in the world there's someone who's greater at accomplishing things than Puff Daddy? And here he is, 50-something years old, and we still think he's the greatest. Where's the new great person? Where's that new great Jay-Z?
They're coming up. You got Kanye. You got. There's this guy. I like his business model. Tory Lanez. He's Canadian anyway, but the way he talks sometimes, I think he's a free artist, isn't it? He's an independent artist.'s got no deal with anybody. The way he talks, it looks like he can talk. You got Drake. So I think people go, people come. There's not enough of this billionaires, if we can say that, in America. You need more black people to rise up to the occasion and make things work. But and a lot of countries look towards America. A lot of artists all over the world. But I think people are now beginning to sort of think, maybe they can go a different route.
Yeah, but look at God, rest his soul, Andre Harrell. He just passed. He was 50-something years old, right? He worked for Uptown. He worked for Arista. He worked for so many different record labels, because I noticed that in record labels, once you establish some kind of you work with them, let's say if you get up high in the rankings, they keep hiring and firing the same people. So now you have someone old like L.A. Reid that feels he's in a position to dictate what the youth should be listening to or the youth music. And see, that's why he fell out of line. He can't make another Beyonce right now. And then it's a lot. The world is full of young ladies that can sing now, that want opportunity. But back then, they would only take, like, for an example, of Beyonce and make her a star. So everybody in the world can sing almost now. Everybody feels like they deserve to be on the stage. So there's no need too much for the L.A. Reid or the Andre Harrell or even the Clive Davises, those who are in control over saying you can be or you can't. No, we don't need that. We have a platform now called the internet that you don't even need a record label. You don't need to be signed to a record label. You just need to be popping on the internet. And that's a record label. Before, you used to have a record label because they owned all of the sources. They had the phone. They didn't even have emails then. They had phone numbers. They can make phone calls to the radio and have your song spinning on the radio by a phone call. Now, radio's not nothing. Nobody's listening to the radio anymore. That part of the world is just done because they haven't been creating opportunity for us. They created an opportunity for Buffy. They created an opportunity for Jay-Z. That create opportunity. They're just not there. Not especially in America. Like when you look at, hey, I want to sing. I'm going to move to America, and I'm going to sing, and I'm going to get a record deal. That's what people think when you move to America is a dream. It's like people moving to Georgia. They think we're going to move to Georgia. I'm going to either be an artist or I'm going to get in the movies. They get down to Atlanta and realize, man, there's nobody in Atlanta that's sponsoring artists and movies. Like, there's no angel investors, people who invested in people's dreams here like that. Like in Los Angeles, you have people that's investors. They're investing in people's dreams. In Atlanta, you have Black Hollywood, no investors.
I got you. So, but like with people like yourselves, I mean, you have a lot of knowledge, understanding. You've been in the game for a long time. You're an OG. I think you can make a lot of difference with this wisdom. It now depends on who's going to listen to you. Do you see yourself like, because now you're an experienced person, you have a lot of knowledge and understanding in the industry, you're an OG. And I believe people like yourself, you know, you can make a lot of impact. You have a lot of resources. I mean, resources come in different ways. It comes in terms of knowledge, power, connections, what you say, your track record. I mean, money is one of it, but money is not all be it in this game. Do you see yourself as somebody that can make a difference, make an impact? Because from the conversations we've had, you know, I know that you can make a lot of things happen just by talking.
I can make a major difference, and I can bring a different kind of wealth to our community. But I'm someone that they don't want to have that opportunity because they know what I'm capable of doing. They know when I open my mouth and I start speaking what I'm liable to say and how I can move people. And sometimes that's what the enemy, you know, when we're looking at war, they don't want that person. Like, they give the money to someone, they'll give money to someone who won't say nothing. But they won't give money to someone who avoids their opinion. You know, so you can look at a lot of these entertainers. Oh, you're just someone who has money that won't say nothing. The Puffy. I'm not even going to keep picking on his name. You know, but the Puffy. You know, they give the money to someone who says, you know what, you have the money, but are you going to be the voice of the people? He's not going to be the voice of the people. He's going to get on and say, everybody, let's start donating and donating for this. You're like, why are you asking people to donate and you have the money yourself? Why don't you just go ahead and you can give more than the people can donate? And it could be a tax write-off, so it's really not your money. They just don't want to do that. They just want to come on, we're going to take donations for You know, to me, I don't think that those are heroes. You know, what the world is going through right now, when the world needed ventilators for people who were sick that couldn't get admitted in the hospital, that Oprah Winfrey said, hey, I'm going to put $1 billion or $1 million or whatever amount of dollars into buying ventilators for people. No, she didn't do it. You ain't hear nothing about Oprah Winfrey or her friend Gail. But those are people who have so much say-so about our lives. Oprah Winfrey is someone who never let a black rapper, besides Kanye West, be on her show because she said she didn't like rappers. And that's Oprah Winfrey.
Wow.
Did we pull her down? Did we come together as a people and say, get her network off our television because she's a black racist? We look at white people and say white people are racist. Nah, a lot of our own people are racist towards each other. Black people, you know, and I'll give you an example. A black man doesn't mind seeing, he'll go out and date a white woman all day. Nothing wrong with that. But when a black man sees a black woman with a white man, they turn angry. And you say, why are we angry? We angry because when you look at it, we say, damn, we're a little bit of racist. It's all right for us to do this, but it's not all right for her to do that. You know, we racist, you know, and sometimes we get like that, you know. We can tell jokes about white people on the radio. Hey, white this, white that, ha, ha, ha. But when a white person tells a joke about a black person on the radio, we don't like it.
I feel you. So, what are your plans going forward? What are you looking to do to sort of make an impact, maybe? To at least in some way, form, or shape. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I want to do is just a movie about the truth of life. That's something that I've been working on. But again, I have a great movie, but it's hard to find the right people that, you know, when I tell somebody I have a movie and this is what it's about, they say, no, I'm backing up off of it because they scared of what comes. It's not nothing that comes with it, but because you're talking about Al Sharpton was a snitch back in the days, we don't want to expose that. No, Al Sharpton, actually his name was CI7, and it's public information. Like, why do people not know about this? Why do people not know about Sylvia Rome and what happened with her? Why do people not know about the Sugar Hill records, and why is the whole family dead? You know, the whole family died because Sugar Hill Records, I'm going to give you an example. Sugar Hill Records was a record label. They had a group called the Sugar Hill Gang. The Sugar Hill Gang was Master G, Wonder Mike, and Big Bang Hank. But the Sugar Hill Records owned the whole rights to the names of the artists, Big Bang Hank, Master G, Wonder Mike, and the Sugar Hill Records. So whenever the group decided not to go along with whatever Sugar Hill Records was saying, the Sons ended up running around acting like they were the Sugar Hill Gang for years. We're talking about over 25 years. And eventually, everybody in the Sugar Hill, that owned the Sugar Hill Records, everybody ended up dying. The sons, the mother, the father, except one son, who just recently gave the Sugar Hill Gang the rights to be themselves again. So if you ever see the Sugar Hill Gang on tour now, you're going to see the original Sugar Hill Gang, not the ones that they put in place. You know, and that was wrong. Those guys couldn't go and sing the songs that they sang that people knew them for over 30 years.
Wow.
You never even know what they were doing in life. They were working, struggling, going through a whole bunch of things. But on the other hand, it was a family that's running around saying that they're the Sugar Hill Gang, going on tour in other countries. They've been to London and all of this. And the thing is, the Sugar Hill Gang has been to London, and it wasn't the real Sugar Hill Gang. You know?
Wow.
That's the kind of stuff
big.
that we hear. That's very deep. But it took, but God, you know, when you look at it at the end, you say, you know what, God sure did win because he definitely took everybody out. There was a lot of the whole family except for one son. Everybody dead. See? And that's a curse. It's almost like the curse that Barry Gordy put on Motown with Detroit. And they said, you know what, we're never going to let another artist come out of Detroit behind what he did to Stevie Wonder, the Motown records, and all of that foolery that was going on there. You understand Motown. They had Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, all of those old groups. Barry Gordy had took so much advantage of them that they said there will never be another artists to come out of Detroit or Motown, anything like, or Detroit after that. But then you had like Eminem came out of there. Eminem,
Yeah.
but it's hard for an artist to be from Detroit or Midwest like that and become big and become popular, you know, and that's because Barry Gordy put a curse on Detroit.
Wow. This is a master class that you're giving us that about the music industry and about so many things. It's just a shame that the internet hasn't been clear all through. Oh, we've got about 26 seconds more to go. I think we should fix another day where we can do this when you're stable in a place, so we can talk better, because you know, the internet has been messing up. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on this Offline Utmostt review.